Howdy! So, we're crawling into week 4, and here's my message for you. You're allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. So, that's my message for today. So, we're here in the announcements, questions and announcements. And some of you have posted questions, which is really cool. So thank you very much to those who have been doing it. And don't forget that you can ask questions in here. If you have any questions about any of the quizzes or anything, you can ask questions here that relate to what you're trying to learn. Now, if it's something personal, don't forget, or if it could relate to your grade, make sure that you just email me. Anyway, I wanted to go over a few things. First of all, on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, I teach. So I just want to make sure that you know that I can't respond to emails in the morning right away. It will go into the afternoon before I'll be able to get back to you. And then this is something that I definitely want to say and make sure that you recognize that if you hand in the .laccdb file, I can't grade it. And I think I've said this last week, but I just want to reiterate it because I think it's important to pay attention to that. You will have a second file that's created when you open a database, and its extension will be .laccdb. And so I kind of call it the .laccdb monster because it affects people and it's annoying, you know, and people don't notice. And this right here is just a lock file is all it is. And it's not the actual access file. So I can't grade your database if you hand that in. So please watch for that, okay? And I did extend SAM Module 1 to the second. So anyone who had trouble, hopefully you got that done. I did change the dates in the syllabus because the schedule was set up so that Thanksgiving was a week earlier than it actually is. So I did successfully change that. And here's a bunch of questions from people about SA9. Very good. Question away. Let's see, and this message here, I accidentally put SA8 properties, and it's actually SA9 properties that you need to put your database for when you do SA9. So anyway, so those are the announcements that I have for this week. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the content for this week. And here we are in week 4. Oh my gosh. And now you're learning about primary keys. Okay. So just a note, I want to make sure that you understand that down below here are links to just the module. I can't really link you to a specific page number, but what I want you to read about in each module is just about table relationships pretty much. So that's what that's about. And so there's some reading that's in module 2. There's some reading that's in module 9. Which you have not read before, so you'll want to find that information in there. And don't forget that you can use the search key here, or else you can go to the table of contents and just find it under this title. And then here, relationships, A5 through A8, which is in the appendix. So I do really encourage you to watch the many-to-many relationships. I think it's a very helpful video. This right here gives you just a lot of examples to solidify your understanding. Here is where you're going to post your final project proposal. And I will read it and give you some feedback on that. Okay? And then essay 11 is about primary keys, and it gives you a much deeper understanding about primary keys and how they work. Some people complain about my supplemental activities, but the book just does not do it justice. And if you want to be able to create a final project, you'll need to be able to understand primary keys on a deeper level. Otherwise, you'll just be so frustrated. So I think this activity will help you. And once again, you'll need to hand in your schedule. I don't think this should take you very long. This, however, will take a while. I will warn you about that. The reading will take a little while, but I think the majority of your time should be on primary keys. And then finally, you'll do a check-in, and there's a video about neuroplasticity in there. Anyway, that's this week. Maybe I'll give you a little introduction about primary keys. So I'm just going to do this fast because I don't want to make this video too long, but the three things I want to talk about are intro to primary keys, characteristics of primary keys, and primary keys in application. And there are lots of examples of primary keys: social security number, account number, your fingerprint. These are all things that make or are identifiers that are unique. No one else should have that particular identifier. You know, no one should have your account number at your bank, for example. Okay? And primary keys can be made of one field, but they can also be more than one field, and then that's considered a composite key. They have they must, if it's a field that makes a primary key, it must have a value. You cannot have anything that's blank, which is known as a null value. They can't be repeated, right, because they need to be unique. So the combination of, say, a bank and account number should be completely an identifier for all accounts throughout the United States, right? Anyway, they cannot be repeated, and they can have a natural key or generated. Now, you should read about natural keys. A natural key is something that's considered to be in society recognized, like, for example, social security number. Or you could generate them. It's better if you can use natural keys. Names, I want to make sure you understand. Names are not good for primary keys. For example, a student's name, Kathy Smith. Well, how many Kathy Smiths are there? That's not unique. So usually names are not the best choice. So here we can have a primary key, or we can have a table with just the class ID and the class description. So that would be for one semester, okay? And the primary key would be this class ID, okay? So then if we come down here, let's say that we want to track multiple students, though. Then we would have, if we had the class ID and we put it in, okay, we're going down and we're entering, And let's say we want to add somebody else into CIS115. Well, it's going to give us an error. So you're going to have to add the student ID as the primary key. You can read about this, so I'm going through it fast. But anyway, what happens, let's see, oh yeah, I went over that. Okay, so to fix the error, yeah, you're gonna do 2 fields as a primary key. And so what if you want to track records for students for not just one semester, but multiple semesters? Well, if you put in, say a student fails CIS 115 and you want to put them in for 2 semesters, you put them in for this semester, fall semester. But if this is the student ID and the class ID are the primary keys, when you go and you add another record with fall 2016, spring 2016, it'll give you an error because it's the combination of these 2 fields here that are the ones that are the primary key. So what you'll have to do in order to be able to add a second record with a spring registration, you'll need to add this semester as the primary key. Okay, so again, read about it, and I think you'll read about it as well. Okay, so in summary, primary keys are unique identifiers, and they can be made of 1 or more fields. They must have a value. They can be natural or generated, and the natural key is preferred, and it is absolutely imperative that you learn that names are usually not the best fields for primary key. Okay, thanks very much.